What up, metalheads? Alright, welcome back to the for real table of metal. I mean, Isaac, how do you feel to be back here at the table of metal?
I feel pretty good, yeah.
Feels awesome.
It
All
does
right.
feel awesome.
So, look, we even got the Wall of Legend behind us.
Hey guys.
What? Yeah, I know. What's up, dude? Alright, so we're going to be discussing Metallica's most controversial album ever, and probably one of the most controversial metal albums in the whole metal discography. That is the Black Album, or their self-titled, whatever. People call it different things. I see it as a Black Album. So
Yeah, me too. This album was released in August 12th, 1991.
yes, and so Metallica.
Seems old, actually.
Metallica, it's actually really old. So Metallica has been thrash metal pioneers. They are the creators of thrash metal along with Megadeth. They give us thrash legends such as Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. Master of Puppets really brought thrash metal to life and to, MTV. Really, Metallica are the fathers of thrash metal and everything beyond that. They're the fathers of extreme metal music, and that is why they're so highly respected. And then they come out with this album, their self-titled or Black Album, which has stirred up tons of controversy. It's even split up Metallica fans from Metallica. So let's dive right into it and start discussing this album. This album is mainly a lot of it's heavy, but it's also very ballady. All right, so I want to show you guys one of their most famous, which is the Unforgiven. Check this out. Okay, so as you can see, really ballady. They've done things like this before off of Ride the Lightning, with like Fade to Black and so on. I mean, it's pretty beautiful. It's a beautiful riff. It's a beautiful melody. It's actually really unique. But this song really is one of their. It's a very unique song. This song is actually liked by most of even non-metal listeners. The song is really radio friendly, and this whole album is very radio friendly. That's why it's really controversial. I want to give you a little taste on what the vocals are like on this album. Check this out.
When I felt what I've known, never shine doing what I've shown. Never be, never see, won't see what might have been. What I felt, what I've known, never shine.
Okay, so, James Hetfield's a great singer at this time. Actually, you know what? Still to this day, he's a great singer. The guitar work on here is great. The production is great. All of it is actually really good. However, it's too radio friendly is what it is. Honestly,
This song is pretty good, yeah, but again, pretty radio friendly. Another thing I kind of don't like about it, it's very radio friendly.
okay. Honestly, it's a pretty solid song. Like I said, production's great. The structure it's simple, but it works.
Yeah, the
It's
melody.
It's appropriate. The melody is unique and awesome. His vocals, really clean, really nice.
Yeah, his vocals remind me like when you're at church. Those people that sing when you're at church.
Everything works well. So now I want to get into the heavy side of this album. The next one we're going to get into is Wherever I May Roam. And this one also is really unique, just like most of the other songs off of this album. But it's also really heavy in a way that's still radio friendly. Check this out. Alright, cut.
Okay, I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that whole it was very. It has the Metallica feel to it, but for some reason didn't sound like Metallica.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's true. That's a good point to bring up. This album does not sound like Metallica. This is them going off into the pop culture territory. Check this piece out, which is where the song starts to kick off. vocals on here just sound like James vocals. You know, I don't need to show you those. They're fine. They just do, you know, the rest of the song is just a heavy song. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, again, it's really well structured. It's a good song. This is probably the longest song off of the album. And honestly, in my opinion, the song is too long for no reason. It's stuck in the same place. That's the only thing negative I really have to say about it. Next song is going to be, and the last song we're going to review off of this album, is Nothing Else Matters. This is another ballady like, and I feel like this one really shows more on what the album is. Check this out. Alright, cut. Okay, so in a nutshell, that actually is the whole album. I know usually we sample more, but there's nothing much else to show. I showed you what it can do, how heavy it is. I showed you how melodic it can be and how unique it can be. And every song off of this album, honestly, is really good. I think this album suffers a lot from a metal elitists, or metal purists, I should say, because this album, it's not that bad of musicianship, really. It actually shows better musicianship than what they've done earlier. It's just not raw metal. It's just not pure metal, and if anything, it does kind of go against what metal is by, you know, really emphasizing on the vocals. They're really necessary on here, and it's also really radio friendly and really even poppy at times. But other than that, it's pretty decent. Like I said, it just suffers a lot of criticism for not being thrash, or for not being, you know, extreme and so complex, or whatever, not being the heaviest stuff they've ever done. So in my opinion, it's actually a solid album. Do I like it? Not really. I'd never listen to this album. I actually don't like this album at all. But I can't say that the musicianship is wrong here. The musicianship shows stronger than Metallica has been in their earlier years.
Yeah, probably the only, I wouldn't say the only, but one of the only great things about this album is that its song structure is amazing. Its song structure is actually a really good song structure, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're really simple, but they work. They're just you know, they're radio structures. Song structures is what they are.
But somehow they make it really good. And the melody to it. The melody to it is very, you're able to sway to it. It's very swayable. Yeah.
Really unique as well. To end it, I know we didn't have a lot to say on this album, and it's because there is not much to say on this album, and that's kind of that itself tells what this album is. This album it doesn't deliver much. It just does one trick, and it's actually kind of a cheap trick, and it works. So, how many stars would you give this? 1 out of 10.
I would give it 5 out of 10. It's a decent album.
Album.
It's not that really bad album, and it's not a really great album in my opinion.
It's just a solid album.
Yeah, it's just a album.
Okay, now I don't like this album, but I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Only because I don't like this album. I am gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because honestly, just looking at it from a musical point of view, they do a great job here. You know, and a lot of people like it. You know, there are metalheads that like it. There are non-metalheads that like it, and because of them being able to bring the two together, I think that's something that's hard to do, and they did it really well. Obviously, yes, some metalheads despise this album, but that's really kind of from an elitist point of view. They're just over here like, oh, it's not complex. Oh, it's not heavy. It's not thrash enough. So, I mean, that's the only criticism you can really give it, is just an opinion, I guess. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, even though I never listened to this album, ever. Because it's not my taste. It's not my cup of tea. Anyways, would you recommend this album, Isaac?
I'd
recommend it as a starter.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd recommend it as an introduction to metal, but
never as a representative of metal.
Yeah.
Never. I don't know. This album does not show what metal is. Well,
you're gonna get a lot of hate for that.
I probably am. All right. So see you guys for tomorrow's controversial album review. Let us know what you think about this album below and what you'd rate it. See ya.